are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart.
This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The Godwell told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. Happy Wednesday to all, and to all a happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having an outstanding day so far. If not, make it so. Work your magic. As you guys can see, things have kind of slowed down. Everything is still pretty much the same as far as events goes, meaning the same events are still in progress. All over Europe, people are now standing up. So it's only a matter of time before people catch on to doing the same here. Not sure what that's going to look like, but it's coming. It's coming. They keep trying to bang the war drum, and they keep trying to drum up headlines to instigate it and initiate it. So it's something for you guys to be aware of. You know, that whole Iran thing, I haven't even talked about it because I don't even want to. Because that's the last thing people even need to think about. So just ignore the warmongering on all fronts and all aspects, because it's important that you do that. Because nobody actually wants war except them. Right? Who benefits from war? Not us. So clearly that's not a route to take. Now, today we got another nice deck. We're gonna get straight into it. We're gonna pop off with Adrenochrome. Let's listen in.
South Korea reports seizing thousands of smuggled drug capsules containing an unusual added ingredient, the powdered flesh from dead babies. Some people believe they can cure disease. The Korea Customs Service says they were made in northeastern China from babies whose bodies were chopped into small pieces and dried on stoves before being turned into powder. But they wouldn't say where they believe the babies came from or exactly who made the capsules, citing possible diplomatic friction with Beijing. The contents, though, were identified by scientific testing.
When we analysed it, the powdered material sequence is better than a 99.7% match with a human DNA sequence.
No one's been reported ill from ingesting them, but scientist Shin Woo-gi warns they have the potential to be dangerous.
We also see superbacteria and other germs and viruses harmful to a person if consumed.
Some of the capsules were carried in luggage, others were sent by international mail. The smugglers told customs officials they believed the capsules were ordinary stamina boosters and didn't know the manufacturing process. One official said no one's been punished, but a customs clearance director at Incheon Airport warned consumers should be careful about health food supplements where the ingredients aren't clearly marked. Karen Sloan, The Associated Press.
Imagine that. The Associated Press. This is just a good, oh no, took me to the wrong one. All right, let's just listen in. This should be a good one. I haven't heard this one, but it should be good.
Humans are not the main characters here, because angels aren't even species. You can be any species to become an angel.
Okay.
No matter what species you are, you can become an angel. Archangels are the ones that never had a life on dark space.
Okay. So is Earth considered dark space?
Yes, Earth is in dark space.
So the archangels, do they help us?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to explain what they look like?
They can look like whatever they want. They just look like, I guess you'd say, orbs. Bright orbs.
Bright orbs?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I guess you could say.
Do angels intervene if we need help sometimes?
Yeah, they'll help you.
Why are they here to help us? Who assigned that?
No one did. They always were.
Okay.
They always wanted to help.
So it's not like God assigned them to help us?
Yeah, they assign themselves.
They assign themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
There's different types of angels that do different types of jobs, but then they can control to not have a job and they can just chill in heaven.
Do angels have a connection with God?
Yeah, the God source, the God energy that is needed to create something.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say an atom. Every atom has a God source in there, and it's gonna need that in order to become an atom. And if it wasn't, it would just become nothing. It would just become nothing, and it would just dissipate and just turn into nothingness.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but no little kid just learns that. They just know that. So that's interesting. Let's hope we are inverting the process that is currently in process. All right, now this is just LOL. Understand who your enemies are, people, because you got to defend yours. Let's listen in.
The lost God symbol
Here, and it will be. The flag of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah will be, inshallah, on the White House. The American people are waking up now.
Allah does say that the whole world eventually will be under his ruling. The world will come down to where everybody obeys the laws of God. Symbol of that.
We will force Islamic Sharia, inshallah. Sharia here, and it will be. The flag of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah will be, inshallah, on the White House. The American people are waking up now.
Allah does say that the whole world eventually will be under his ruling. The world will come down to where everybody obeys the laws of God. Symbol of that.
We will force Islamic Sharia, inshallah. Here. And
Now, I just think that's funny because this ain't Europe. So, good luck to them guys. Some tall dreams right there and a very, very short people. Now let's listen into this.
The Red Cross. I did a video a couple of days ago about the Red Cross, about them providing the migrants with maps and documents and cell phones on their journey to come to the West and through other parts of the world where they're flooding. And I also learned a couple of other things. The Red Cross makes the migrants or whoever they are helping give blood. Okay. And then I figured out Why is that the case? Why are they taking blood from people that's all they have? And then I went and I looked at what it's worth. It's worth $570 per unit. That's 571 milliliters. So through that, they make $570 per unit. And they extract 7 units out of every person. So if you think that you're donating to the Red Cross for a good charity, well, guess what? They're making a lot of money without you. And this just proves it. So Red Cross, you're going to get boycotted.
Woo! Glad I stopped donating blood about almost 20 years ago. Fuck them motherfuckers. Now this is migrants discovered in a hidden room in Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson International Airport of all airports, and guarded by U.S. service members. Apparently, I haven't watched this, but let's see what's going on here.
What do you want to do? Put in the word? No, I just want to get a documentation of it. Are you like ICE or something? Senator from here in the state of Georgia. Senator Baltimore representing Northwest Georgia. Yeah, they have the government, like, it's kind of agency that works in there. Okay. Appreciate you doing it. I think he's one. How's it going, man? Yeah. You guys documented or? Yeah. Yeah. Transporting anybody anywhere? Yeah, we're all getting in place to where they need to be. Okay, where do they need to be? All over the place. Where are they coming from? As in, like, country of origin, stuff like that. Also all over the place. All over the place. Yeah. You know when they come into the U.S.? Why, can I ask you why you're asking these questions? Yeah. The senator from Northwest Georgia. Yeah. And not a big fan of human trafficking. Just want to make sure everything's above board here. Yeah, so these are just recently documented travelers getting released from ICE, getting to where they need to be. Okay. So you're a company of volunteers. Yeah. Team Liberty. Yeah. Okay. Is that a non-government organization? What is that? Yeah. So you receive. How'd you get the job? I'm a volunteer. I mean, there's people that they get dropped off here from ICE detention with no help, so we just, All right. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Care if we good? Yeah. Care if I come in? Just take a little closer look. I mean, you can stand right there. I don't know you I don't know you very well either. So yeah, just let me get a video if you don't. Actually, you cannot get a video. No. You cannot get a video. No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. You're done. Okay.
Well, there you have it. That reaction says it all. So, 14-year-old exposes overpaid, corrupt superintendent and school board. Taxpayers are getting destroyed. Let's listen in.
According to a chart on Chippewa Valley School's own website, every single teacher in the district is making well over $100,000 per year. So is every counselor, principal, media specialist, director, coordinator, and supervisor. It seems the only ones not making over $100,000 are the lunch ladies. At the November meeting, I outed Superintendent Roberts' salary of almost $400,000, which is nearly as much as the U.S. president. With these types of salaries, parents should expect extremely high proficiency scores and academic excellence. But that's not the case. More money does not equal better education. Proficiency scores are as low as 20% in this district. Chippewa Valley High School is ranked 384th out of 735 Michigan high schools. In 2018, your average standard score was 59.42, but went down to 21.68 last year. Your Michigan State percentile is only 18%, meaning 82% of Michigan students scored better on standardized tests than those at Chippewa Valley. You have a 1-star rating on the largest school evaluation website, and you're failing your special needs students too. Their score is only 12, and their Michigan State percentile is now only 3.4%, which is 0 stars on the rating website. Some of you have been on this board for years, and things have gotten worse in this district. One thing has remained unchanged since 2011, and that's Mr. Roberts being superintendent. Every parent in this district should be asking this board, why is Mr. Roberts still the superintendent here? Another question is, why is Mr. Roberts running these board meetings? Why is he blocking and controlling information to a board member? He's not a member of this board. Things have gotten really convoluted here, and boundaries have been crossed. The school board is the governing body of the school district, and Mr. Roberts is only an advisor to this board. Mr. Pearl, as board president, it's actually your job to preside over and conduct these meetings, not the superintendent's. Mr. Roberts should not even be speaking unless giving a report on district issues or if a question is posed to him. And he definitely does not have the authority to control information or access or ban specific board members from anything. So, Mr. Pearl, why are you allowing the superintendent to usurp your authority at these meetings? Maybe you shouldn't be the board president. It's no wonder this district is failing. You can't even conduct a school board meeting correctly. It's a new year now and time for a new direction for this board. Put student academic success at your priority and start following proper procedures and rules for these meetings. Thank you.
Imagine getting smoked by a teenager like that. Holy crap. Things have changed, folks. Things have changed. Suggest you get in tune with the frequency. Josh Hawley goes off on Mark Zuckerberg and forces him to stand up and turn around and apologize to families who were impacted by child exploitation on Meta platforms. Let's listen in. Maybe we'll get an LOL out of this.
So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now? Well, they're here. You're on that. You know, why, Mr. Zuckerberg, why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't
Interesting stuff. We know nothing will come of it, but it's fun to watch. This is in Europe. And the poster writes, we are literally in a battle of good versus evil. One side looks after the land and grows your food. The other get filthy rich from corporate lobbying and globalist takeover. Choose your side wisely. One will be on the right side of history, the other not so. Yeah, I mean, you gotta see what's going on. Don't get caught slipping, you know. You don't see anybody on the right side getting violent, so don't get caught slipping. The only people that always get violent are them, even the ones that they claim are part of our group. They're just mere agitators posing to be part of our group, but they're not. How they keep you in a lower state of consciousness. Let's watch.
The devil is red because it's the lowest vibrational color, which is the root chakra. The root chakra is all to do with survival mode. In order for you to survive, you will kill and be in your animal nature. This is why the so-called devil has a goat head. The same goat you see in the music industry. This is why you call them the goat. They have not sold their soul to Satan. Satan is a demonic energy within the astral plane. These have exchanged money in order for them to portray and manifest negative energy through the music so that they keep you in your lower states of consciousness in the root chakra. Music is frequency, and whatever you listen to, you are becoming that frequency. And the words that they say in the music are staying within your subconscious mind, which manifests your behavior. The devil's tail is a triangle pointing down because it's a part of your Merkaba, ascension and descension. Devil's tail is the downward triangle. Your Merkaba is your light body. Mer equals light, Ka equals spirit, Ba equals body. Merkaba. It's your celestial sphere to portray different planes of reality. Devil's tail is the descension. Your head is heaven, your heel is hell. God, your consciousness is in the brain. If you have this PDF, I've added new pages. Just re-download it. The link is in the bio.
The Last Supper is astrology.
Jesus never existed. The Last Supper is astrology. 12 constellations, 12 disciples. There are 4 groups of 3 for the 3 months in each season, spring, summer, fall, winter, which creates the 4 gospels, the 4 seasons of the sun, because Jesus represents the sun, gives and takes, day and night, summer and winter. Aries is the first constellation, and Aries rules the head region. This is why Aries is standing on the head of the table. Taurus is the neck and throat. Taurus is the bull and they have thick necks. Gemini is the 2 twins, which rules the 2 hands, the 2 arms, and the 2 lungs. Cancer is the crab and they have pinchers. This is why Cancer's holding a knife. Leo, the dominant lion. This is why he's got his elbow on the table, showing dominance. He's pointing out there is no Adam's apple, which means it's a female, which is Virgo, the virgin, the constellation Virgo. Jesus, the sun, the risen savior, the light of the world. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and winter. This is why he's holding his hands out equally. The Bible is not history. It's riddled with coded astrological and metaphysical meanings. If you want to learn the truth, people, this book will provide you with everything you need to know. The link is in the bio to get your hard copy or the PDF.
Now let's catch what is going on here. Should be funny, I think.
I will not yield. I want to remind the public that Donald Trump and House Republicans also have their own ideas for the border. So let's review the majority's border ideas that they've actually presented. Here they are. Donald Trump actually has said that he wants to build alligator moats along the border. That's one of his incredible ideas. Another idea that Donald Trump has promoted is he actually wants to electrify the border fence and maybe even put some spikes on the border. That's another Donald Trump and MAGA majority border idea. Another idea, which I'm not sure how well it would go, is he wants to actually bomb northern Mexico with missiles. That's another Trump idea. And finally, I think one of the ones that I think is the most grotesque is suggestions that instead we should maybe just shoot migrants in the legs as they cross the border. So once again, the Donald Trump and MAGA plan is alligator moats, bombing northern Mexico, shooting migrants in the legs, and electrifying the fence and putting spikes on them. That is the Donald Trump border plan.
You know what's funny about these guys is that they talk and never provide any evidence to support their claims. I mean, sure, you could have definitely said all of that, but damn, where your sources at, bro? You're a grown man. Crazy. Now, check this out. This is a dude. This dude here is claiming to be a chick in a rugby league. I'm guessing this is in New Zealand, but let's see. God damn it. Man, that shit is fucking crazy. And people act like it's normal. Everybody should just be like, thanks, so they can get the message. Now this dude just looks like somebody you need to listen to. So listen up.
Well, howdy. You know, I was just down in the tack room and spied this old bridle hanging there on the wall. And although it's 80 to 100 years old, it got me thinking of today. And not so much the horses, but the people. This bridle's got a specific design. Those blinders are there so that while working, the animal can't get distracted with what's going on this side. It can't get distracted with what's going on that side. It sure as hell doesn't know what's going on behind it. All it knows is to go straight ahead and do what it's told. Sound familiar? Well, folks, it's about time that everybody stopped and took their fucking blinders off and best look behind you, because the World Economic Forum just came up torch in hand and lit your fucking wagon on fire. Everything that you know, your entire way of life, is under direct assault from them sons of bitches right now. Your sovereignty in the nation that you live, your financial stability, your food source, your energy source, your transportation, and your freedom as a human being are all under direct attack by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. It is Mr. Schwab's intention in his fourth industrial revolution to integrate your biological self with your digital self, to remove God from the equation, the miracle of life. These fuckers are serious, people. They're playing for keeps. This isn't a joke. So it is time. Take your blinders off. Look around you. Realize what's going on. There's some serious shit coming up behind you. Once you see what's going on and you arm yourself with facts, start telling people. This is where we have to sway the mass of consciousness. We have to make people aware. Information is invaluable right now. That's your ammunition. You are a warrior. Use your accurate information and truth. Spread it. Get in the fight. I love each and every one of you.
Sometimes the truth cannot be explained any further. Now let's listen in. This is a oldie but goodie.
These agreements require employees of the government of Canada that access these documents to sign confidentiality agreements. And why is that? Why is there much more redactions, as my colleague said, in these documents than in other documents? It's because these documents were signed at the beginning of a pandemic, when everybody was desperate for vaccines, when companies were being told to rush vaccine production, do testing in an unprecedented way, in a way they normally don't do it. So these companies were exposed to way higher liability, putting their products on the market than they normally would, because they didn't do the type of testing that normally takes these drugs years to come to market. They did it all in less than a year. So that's why these companies said, if I'm going to deliver you this product that I haven't tested in my normal way, I want to have different conditions. And with all countries around the world competing with each other to get these, the countries had less leverage than they normally do. For example, if we were entering into flu vaccine contracts or monkeypox contracts or other things that were normally available, this would be a different issue. But these are already signed. They were signed at a time the government didn't have that leverage in negotiations. We just wanted to sign as many vaccine contracts with as many producers as possible because Canadians were desperate for vaccines. And in the end, it worked out. We got vaccines, and we were one of the countries that got to vaccinate everybody the fastest.
Too funny. So what I was saying earlier about the other videos, that some videos don't require any further comment because they're just self-explanatory. They're that good. And apparently this is now why we must start making our own bread. Let's tune in.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we are doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Hawley Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other
I talk about this all the time.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Do you think most Americans are aware that they're being exposed to substances that are viewed as dangerous over here?
They probably just think, well, if it's available and it's in the store, then it's probably fine.
Stacey McNamara is from upstate New York, but has been living in London for 10 years. She told us raising children on this side of the Atlantic has opened her eyes to what's allowed in food in the US. She has no plans to ever move back home.
And is food safety a part of that decision?
For sure, yeah. How am I going to protect my children when it's just everywhere?
In a statement to CBS News, the FDA said that when used properly, potassium bromate converts to a harmless substance during food production. But at the same time, Nora...
How convenient. You must be a chemist to understand that we're not trying to kill you, even though we are. Funny. So as you guys might or might not know, there's been a plethora of food processing plants being burnt over the past 3 to 4 years. It all started during the lockdowns, and it's just been continual ever since. This is the latest one I've got my eyes on, in Bryan, Texas, and actually a lot of them are in Texas, and a lot of them are in New York, California as well. Another day, another massive fire on food production facility in America. This time, farm crushed chicken feather plant. Too many to count now. Well, yeah, it's been years worth, which is why. America's under attack from within. One way or another, you will eat the bugs in Bill Gates's fake meat. So that's what that's all about, in case you didn't know. Now, this is all about this freaking psycho lady here that just won 100 mil from Trump. Let's listen in. Let's listen to her brag.
Eugene, in terms of the what you've just been through, I mean, to hear a lawyer as experienced as Ravi Kaplan say it was nerve-wracking to be in that room sometimes because of the way this was conducted. I have to ask you, President Trump has kept your name out of his mouth since being told he has to pay $83 million to you for what he's done in the past. But over the weekend, he did start posting links online to articles that attacked you and denied your claims. Again, he seems to be pushing it already in terms of whether or not he is going to go back to calling you a liar and denying that he did what he did. If it came to it, if your lawyers told you that there was another case and that you should go back and get more money out of him and sue him again, would you do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It wasn't too much. It wasn't too much wear and tear on you. I mean, the guts factor here is real in terms of how much you put yourself out there. A lot of big, strong people have been wouldn't put themselves through what you've gone through.
Rachel, many people, as you know, have been through much worse than I went through at that trial. People suffered more difficult things than I've ever been through in my life. And I am more than willing to do it again because we achieved so much in a 7-day trial. We did what people thought was impossible. We beat Donald Trump.
Let me.
I mean, do you guys see what I see? They're so fake. Jesus. And then when they brought up the money, they try to act excited and all of that. Like, so fake, man. So fake. So, these people are just doing what they're told to do or getting paid to do or whatever it is. It's all about money. Now, this is about the. Wait, is this the same thing? I don't think so. Oh, no, I think this is. Let's see.
I want to remind the public that Donald Trump and
Yeah. This is. Yeah. So this goes back to about a couple weeks after Biden, quote unquote, got inaugurated. This is when he basically opened the gates wide open. Let's watch.
Today I'm going to sign a few executive orders to strengthen the immigration system, building on the executive actions I took on day one to protect dreamers.
To strengthen the immigration system. Look forward 3 years later. Some strength, huh?
And to end the Muslim ban and to better manage our borders. And that's what these three different executive orders are about. And I want to make it clear, there's a lot of talk with good reason about the number of executive orders that I've signed. I'm not making new law. I'm eliminating bad policy. What I'm doing is taking on the issues that 99% of them that the last president of the United States issued executive orders I thought were very counterproductive to our security, counterproductive to who we are as a country, particularly in the area of immigration. This is about how America is safer, stronger, more prosperous when we have a fair, orderly, and humane legal immigration system. And with the first action today, we're going to work to undo the moral and national shame of the previous administration that literally, not figuratively, ripped children from the arms of their families, their mothers and fathers at the border, and with no plan, none whatsoever, to reunify the children who are still in custody and their parents.
All right, I think we all know by now that everything that they state is the literal opposite. So if they're feigning concern, please look up the antonym for that word. Now, let's listen into this. It should be interesting.
Capitalism may be corrupt, but it is fundamentally democratic. ExxonMobil is going to court because they're trying to stop their shareholders from forcing a vote on more climate resolutions. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that BlackRock controls way too much of the stock market, because they are one of the top 3 shareholders in basically every company in the stock exchange. And the haters are like, bro, they don't even own those shares. They're using our money in our retirement account. Homie doesn't even understand finance. And they're all too small brained to realize that the actual power of shares of companies is the voting power that those shares carry, not the money that they represent. Us poors are trained to think of stock markets and investing as all about the money, but to the rich and powerful, it's all about power and control.
That is accurate. It is about the voting representations of the shares. That's why you will see, if you Google most stocks, a lot of them will have multiple share classes, and those different classes of shares have different voting rights, different attributes in essence. So things to know.
And that power and control is the voting rights that those shares represent. And this has been a big issue for oil companies lately. The same thing just happened at Shell, where a bunch of institutional investors all got together and forced them to make more climate resolutions. They did so only controlling 5% of Shell's stock. And that was enough to get a resolution into the vote where all of the shareholders could vote collectively on whether they thought Shell should adopt these new proposals. And now green activist investor Follow This is doing the same thing to ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil has made scope 1 and 2 commitments, but they want them to make scope 3 commitments. And Exxon doesn't want to do that. And so they are going to court to try to block the shareholders from getting this proposal on the ballot, so to speak. And in a surprise twist of people actually being good people, the case was originally appointed to Judge Reed O'Connor, who was an appointee of former Republican President George Bush, whose track record is exactly what you would imagine it would be. But then O'Connor actually recused himself from the case. He didn't say specifically why, but it was noted that he held ExxonMobil stock and his spouse had some financial ties as well. Right on, dude. That's how judges are supposed to work. So now it's going to be held by someone that was appointed by Trump. I mean, it's probably no coincidence that all of the oil companies are based in Texas, where all of the politicians and judges are also Republican and support the Texas oil industry. I don't know. Personally, I'm a little conflicted because the oil industry clearly pollutes the shit out of our world and has no regard for the ecosystems they fuck up and the oil spills they create. But greenhouse gas emissions are a little nebulous. And although we do have alternatives, like I don't know if we have enough alternatives to like really try to eradicate the oil and gas industry right away. All the alternatives that I'm aware of have some pretty serious climate problems of their own. I don't know. It's a complicated issue. I'm not here to talk about climate change. I am definitely not a scientist or an expert on climate change. Don't listen to me about that kind of shit. Because if I'm being honest about it, my biggest question about climate change is what the fuck happened to Nikola Tesla's files and where are they? Why are we digging up like tons of rare earth elements that are super limited and super toxic when no one's getting answers on this shit? So yeah, the next time some dumbass in the comments is like, BlackRock doesn't own the shares, tell them to go fuck themselves. It's all about voting rights in the stock market. And if you want to know more or see how you can get involved or contribute, followthis.org is the website of these activist investors.
Yo, have y'all seen this? And maybe not. You're probably paying attention to mainstream media or what's going on and not what's going on over at the borders at the moment in time. But let me tell you what's really going on. Come here. They're switching up the money. This is the USA hidden wealth if we went on to an asset-backed based currency. This chart can be found on the US Debt Clock app. And as you can see, it has a lot of important information on here, and with a variety of assets such as precious metal reserve, mineral reserve, real estate, stock market, recaptured assets, new energy, which is the thorium, and it'll total out to be almost $500,000 to each citizen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like going into a system like this will ultimately bring power back to the people. Now, I know that this is the treasury dollars, and the idea is to move away from a debt-based system over to a debt-free system. And with the current monetary system, let's just be nice and say it's unhealthy, very unhealthy. Our U.S. national debt is over $34 trillion. Look. Our global debt is almost $319 trillion. And look, every single country is in debt. Every country.
We fucked up.
And unlike the current fiat system, this thing will be asset backed. It'll be backed by a variety of assets such as gold, silver, copper, gas, oil, stock market, etc.
Shut up and take my money.
It has a store of value, a new unit of measurement, it's inherent, it's transparent and verifiable, it has a limited supply, and to keep security, it's anonymous. And they're taking all of these assets right here, and they're going to be placing it on blockchain technology, also known as real world assets.
Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every bottle of fine wine, every collectible car, every piece of real estate, every private business, everything of value in the world will eventually be a token. And people were sniggering and like, yeah, whatever. And now we know it's true, right? Y'all are proof positive. The talent migration into this space that has recognized that this adoption of technology, this evolution, it's not a revolution, it's an evolution of technology, that everything of value will be a token on a blockchain. Not a coin, not a thing. It's literally a line item on a public ledger. Everything of value will be that. And every transaction of value will happen in digital assets.
This was the secret window that popped up whenever the app updated. It is the same USA right there. I feel like the hidden wealth is within those doors right there, because that's why the door is green. You see? Like if we just move Bernie aside, he just 2 steps over there and we walk through them doors right there, we'll get some answers, I believe. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, because I believe, again, we'll get the answers for this currency right here, baby. But either way, I feel like that we have already won this war. We're just still in the battle right now. The transition is happening as we speak. And I believe that, in my opinion, the transition is going to be amazing. But this is why it's very important to know what you hold. Let's go.
That sounds familiar. Know what you hold. All right. This is more on castor oil, I think. Let's listen in.
I'm not going to advise you drink it. But castor oil penetrates very deep, and it penetrates deeper than any other oil. So it can be used externally. And what it does, wherever castor oil penetrates, it breaks up lumps, bumps, congestions, adhesions. It can even break up a bone spur. It can break up tumours. I have known women have told me this, that's broken up lumps in the breast, and those lumps may be cysts or even breast cancer. Now, we had a doctor do our program, and she'd rung me up and she said to me, Barbara, can you help me? What causes fatty liver? It's fructose. When fruit breaks down, it breaks down to glucose and fructose. Sugar is half fructose and glucose. So a lot of fruit juices, they got high fructose and they got sugar in them, which is another fructose and glucose. And a lot of cakes, biscuits, croissants, donuts, things like that, they're sweetened with high fructose corn syrup. Have you heard of high fructose corn syrup? People see high fructose corn syrup and they think, well, that sounds healthy. Fructose, fruit, syrup, oh, that's that sounds all right. But it's one of the most dangerous sweeteners there are. It's so cheap. That's why they use it. The fructose went to the liver, and the liver converted the fructose to glucose and then sends it to the cell. But if someone had an overload of fructose, all that fructose goes to the liver, and it's too much fructose. The liver cannot convert it all to glucose, so it stores it as fat on the liver. There's your fatty liver.
Okay, all of you know that water is H2O. 2 H's and 1 O, right? That's water. Okay? Okay, now, if you add 1 extra O, and what have you got? Now you have H2O2, and that's peroxide, right? And that's what we use. We use a lot of the hydrogen peroxide. And what it does, number one, it kills germs and viruses. Okay, very good. And number two, it kills tumor tissue, cancer. It happens that peroxide is very cheap. Very cheap, very effective, very useful. Guess what Orthodox doctors think of it? No good. It's too cheap. Before we give anything to a patient, it's me first. You ever hear an oncologist say that for chemo? Wonder why. We use the peroxide. We give every patient when they come a bottle of peroxide to rub on their bodies every day, at least once, preferably twice. Because like every other thing you put on your skin, it's absorbed right into the bloodstream, and right away, this extra oxygen radical goes into the bloodstream. And it helps to kill germs and viruses, and it helps to kill tumor tissue, and it helps to oxygenate and ozonate the blood, and it helps to combine with free radicals. Very valuable.
But what drinking with the meals does, it waters down the digestive juices. So what you're doing when you're drinking with your meal is you're compromising or inhibiting your digestive process. What the stomach has to do, it has to stop digestion. It has to absorb that fluid to bring that stomach back to a more acid state, because it's only in an acid state that the enzymes can work, and then return to digestion. In fact, Dr. William Beaumont, in his book on digestion, he showed that it can delay digestion to the point that there can still be some breakfast in the stomach at the end of the day when the person's drinking a lot of fluid with their meals. If someone's thirsty after their meal, I say, by all means, have a mouthful. You know, a mouthful's not going to have a huge effect. It's more when large glasses are taken with the meal that it can inhibit the digestive process. What about soups? With soups, it's not a huge amount of liquid with a soup, and the soup is hot, and the soup is mineral rich, and so that is absorbed very quickly.
Not interested in a copyright strike, but let's see what they come up with. Copper wire wrapped around a CD basically makes a power cell. So that's what they do. They're putting them in series, and they're gonna try to create some type of actual, uh, uh, what do you call that? That liquid. It's like becomes glass, plexiglass or whatever. So they just encase the CDs, and they're all connected in series. It's 120 volts. And there you go. Started this. They started a starter motor. So boom, just using CDs. How crazy is that? Now I thought this was cool. This is a tub. It's like floating.
So it looks like it has this.
Look at that. That's a tub. Shit crazy.
This is the craziest tub I've ever seen in my life. It is literally floating, and in a second I'm going to show you how it works. First, let's cover the details. It's made out of carbon fiber. It is mounted to the ceiling with these steel rods, so it looks like a hammock. And check this out. We have the tub filler on this side, valves right here, and when you turn it on, it starts filling the tub. Now, in order to drain it, you just hit the drain, and it goes down into the floor. Seriously, craziest tub I've ever seen in my life. This is the...
And let's go out with a laugh. I'm sorry, but you can't beat that. Oh man. Hey, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Yeah, make sure you don't drink the hydrogen peroxide. That's not what that lady is saying. So peace out. Keep your head on a swivel, because it's game time. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass The longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told